Sheffield Wednesday Football Club is a professional football club based in Sheffield, South Yorkshire, England, that will compete in the EFL Championship, the second tier of English football club, following promotion from the 2022-2023 EFL League One. Formed in 1867 as an offshoot of the Wednesday Cricket Club, they were known as the Wednesday Football Club until 1929. Wednesday is one of the oldest football clubs in the world of any code, and the second oldest professional association football club in England. In 1868, its team won the Cromwell Cup, only the second tournament of its kind. They were founding members of inaugural championship of the Football Alliance in 1889, before joining the Football League 3 years later in 1992. They became founder members of the Premier League. The team has spent most of its league history in English football top flight, but they have not played at the level since being relegated in the year 2000. The Owls, as they are nicknamed, are one of the most successful teams in English football, having won 4 league titles, 3 FA Cups, 1 League Cup, and 1 FA Community Shield. Wednesday has also competed in UEFA Cup competitions on 4 occasions, reaching the quarterfinals of the Intercities Fair Cup in 1963 and 1991. They defeated Manchester United 1-0 in the Football League Cup final. As a second-tier team, as of 2022, they remain the last team to win one of the English football's major trophies while outside the top flight. In the 19th century, they played their matches at several stadiums around central Sheffield, including Olive Grove and Bramley. Since 1899, the club has played all its home matches at Hillsborough Stadium, a near 40,000 capacity in the northwest Sheffield. Wednesday's biggest rivals are Sheffield United, with whom they contest the Steel City Derby. Although no contemporary evidence has been found to support the claims, it is commonly believed that Wednesday Cricket Club was formed in 1820s. Nevertheless, in 1842, articles in Bell's Life magazine states the club was founded as far back as 1816. The club was so named because it is on Wednesdays that the founding members had half day off work. They were initially based at the new ground in Darnall, and often went by the name Darnall Wednesday, but also played at Hyde Park. In 1855, they were one of the 6 clubs that helped build Bramley and held a wicket there for many years. On the evening of Wednesday, 4th September 1867, a meeting was held at the Adelphi Hotel to establish whether there was interest among club members to form football club to keep the team together and fit during the winter months. The proposal proved very popular, with over 60 members signing up for the new team on the first night. They played their first match against the Mechanics on 19th October the same year, winning by 3 goals and 4 rows to 0. It soon became apparent that football would come to eclipse the cricket side of the club in terms of popularity. The 2 sections went their separate ways in 1882 after a dispute over finances, and cricket club ceased to exist in 1925. On 1st February 1868, Wednesday played their first competitive football match as they entered the Cromwell Cup, a one-off 4-team competition for newly formed clubs. A week after their semi-final, they went on to win the cup, beating the Garrick Club in the final after extra time, the only goal being scored in diminishing light at Bramley. This was one of the first recorded instances of a match being settled by a golden goal, although the term was not in use at the time. A key figure during the formative years of football was Charles Glegg, who joined the Wednesday in 1867. His relationship with the club lasted for the rest of his years and eventually leading to his becoming the club's chairman. He also became president and chairman of Football Association and was known as the Napoleon of football. Glegg play for England in the first ever international match against Scotland in November 1872, thereby completing a unique double for the club, who could lay claim to having a play in the first international games of cricket and football. In 1876, Wednesday acquired Scot James Lang. Although he was not employed by the club, he was given a job by a member of the Sheffield Wednesday board that had no formal duties. He is now acknowledged as the first professional football player in England. With Lang in their team, the football club became one of the strongest in the region, a reputation that was cemented when they won the inaugural Sheffield FA Challenge Cup in 1877. In 1961, the club ran toe-to-toe with Tottenham Hotspur at the top of the table for the majority of the season. Wednesday became the first team to beat Spur all season, before finally finishing in the second place, which still remains the club's highest post-war league finish. In 1966, the club reached its fifth FA Cup final, but they were beaten 3-2 by Everton, having lead 2-0. Off the field, the club was embroiled in the British betting scandal of 1964, in which three of its players, Peter Swan, David Lane, and Tony Kay, were accused of match fixing and betting against their own team in a away game at Ipswich Town. On 15th April 1989, the club's stadium was the scene of one of the worst sporting tragedies ever, at the FA Cup semi-final between Liverpool and Nottingham Forest, at which 97 Liverpool fans were fatally crushed in the Lepping Lane end of the stadium. The tragedy resulted in many changes at Hillsborough and all the leading stadiums in England. In 2014, the club was again taken over by a new owner, the businessman Defon Chansiri, purchasing the club from Milan Mandrik for £37.5 million. Chansiri stated his intention to win the Premier League promotion for 2017-2018 season, the football club's 150th anniversary, and came close to achieving that goal a year ahead of the schedule, with new coach Carlos leading the club into the end-season playoffs at the end of the 2015-2016 season. Wednesdays were beaten in the final by Hull City at Wembley. On 6th September 2019, the club appointed former Birmingham City manager Gary Monk as the new manager, who achieved a 16th place finish in season that was interrupted from March to June by COVID-19 pandemic. On 31st July 2020, Sheffield Wednesday was found guilty of breaking EFL spending rules and began the 2020-2021 season on 12 points, though the deficit was later reduced to 6 upon appeal. Football Finance Analysis site of the pitch named the club the worst financial performer of 185 European clubs based on its own analysis combining numerous metrics. On 9th November 2020, Monk was sacked after a poor start to the season and was replaced by Tony. However, Tony was also dismissed after only 45 days in charge on 28 December 2020. After a few months with Neil Thompson as caretaker manager, Doreen Moore was appointed as the club's third permanent manager of the season in March 2021. Despite taking the fight to the final day, Monk could not prevent relegation to League One came to the end of the season, bringing Wednesday's 9 years spell in the championship to an end. In 2022-2023, Wednesday won promotion back to the championship by defeating Barnsley in 2023 playoff final,